Royal moment. Princess Leonor joins King Felipe at the UN in New York. Globe crown. The skyline of New York. The world's diplomatic capital. A place where presidents, kings, and leaders gather to shape the future of the planet. And yet, no one expected her to appear. No one expected this moment. No one expected Princess Leonor, future Queen of Spain, to walk into the United Nations beside her father. But what happened next stunned everyone. Because while most believed this would be a quiet, predictable diplomatic visit, something entirely different unfolded. Something emotional, something historic, something that revealed the future of the Spanish crown in a way no one had ever seen before. And the truth, it all began with one simple step. Leonor's step, across the marble floors of the UN headquarters. Standing beside King Felipe, standing not as a young royal in training, but as a leader in formation. A beacon, a symbol, a daughter stepping into her destiny. What the cameras captured, what diplomats whispered, what Spain felt, what New York witnessed, it all became one unforgettable royal moment. This is the full story. The story begins hours before anyone knew Leonor was even in the city. The motorcade had been planned for days. Security was tight. The UN protocols were precise. King Felipe was scheduled to speak at a high-level session on global cooperation and youth leadership. But there was a question surrounding the visit: would the heir to the throne join him? Her schedule was full in Spain. Duty upon duty, military training, public engagements. But then, late the night before the visit, a quiet decision was made. A decision only a handful of advisors knew. Leonor would travel, discreetly, privately, unexpectedly, because this moment, this stage, this global gathering, it wasn't just for King Felipe. It was for the future queen. New York was waking up when the royal car slipped through First Avenue. Diplomats were already gathering, cameras were already set up. But no one noticed the second figure stepping out behind the king. It wasn't until the doors of the UN swung open that reporters gasped. It was Princess Leonor, composed, radiant, calm, wearing an elegant navy ensemble that blended tradition with modernity. The kind of outfit that silently told the world, she is ready. Felipe paused just slightly, as if acknowledging the symbolic weight of the moment. His daughter beside him, Spain's present and Spain's future walking together into one of the most important buildings on earth. Inside, their arrival created a ripple. Delegates who had prepared for a typical state presence suddenly found themselves witnessing a succession moment in real time. Leonor wasn't just observing, she wasn't just attending, she was being introduced, not formally, not ceremonially, but emotionally, symbolically, historically. Felipe greeted diplomats with the warmth he is known for. But with Leonor beside him, his expression softened. More father than king, more mentor than monarch, and yet both roles blending seamlessly in a way the world rarely gets to see. As they entered the assembly hall, Leonor took everything in with measured curiosity. Every flag, every delegate, every gesture, her eyes were studying, memorizing, absorbing. She wasn't simply present, she was preparing. Then came the moment Spain had been waiting for. King Felipe approached the podium. Cameras clicked, screens lit up, the room fell silent. But it wasn't the speech that captured attention, it was the way Leonor listened. Focused, intent, proud. And when Felipe spoke about responsibility, unity, and the future of young leaders, the camera cut to Leonor again. Because suddenly the words weren't theoretical. They had a face, her face. For the first time on this level, she wasn't just the Princess of Spain. She was the embodiment of its future. When the speech ended, something unexpected happened. Delegates who typically rushed to the next meeting stayed in place. They wanted to greet the princess. They wanted a moment with the young woman who would one day sit on the throne of Spain. And Leonor surprised them. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't overwhelmed. She wasn't merely polite. She was engaged, confident, warm. There was a quiet strength in her tone. A diplomatic instinct inherited from her father, and shaped by her mother. One diplomat from a European nation reportedly told her, "Your father leads with dignity. You will lead with purpose." Leonor smiled, not with pride, but with gratitude. Then came an unexpected twist, one that created whispers across the delegation floor. A private side session on youth leadership and global cooperation was scheduled, and Leonor had been invited. Not as a royal guest. Not as a symbolic figure. But as an active participant. Her advisors hesitated. This wasn't on the public agenda. Cameras weren't prepared. Spain hadn't planned to show her in this light just yet. But Felipe simply nodded. His expression said everything. Let her enter. And she did. Inside that smaller room, surrounded by rising young leaders from all continents, Leonor spoke. Quietly at first, but with clarity. She talked about responsibility, service, her time at the military academy, her belief that leadership is not privilege but sacrifice. Those in the room never forgot it. When she finished, a young climate advocate from Latin America approached her. "You speak like someone who knows who she is becoming," she said. Leonor responded softly, "I'm learning every day. And today is part of that learning." Outside, Felipe waited, watching from a distance, not interfering, not directing, simply allowing his daughter to take her place. The moment she stepped out of that meeting, their eyes met. And something passed between them that no camera could capture. A recognition, a passing of understanding, not of power, but of responsibility. They moved together toward the next room, the bilateral meeting area. Spain had scheduled a series of diplomatic talks. But now there was an added dimension: the heir to the throne would sit in. This was not typical. This was not expected. This was not even fully public. But it was happening. During the meetings, Leonor took notes. She paid attention to every detail. And when one ambassador asked her a direct question about Spain's youth initiatives, she answered with a measured, concise response that left the room impressed. Felipe observed quietly. His pride was unmistakable, but contained behind royal discipline. His daughter was stepping into her role faster than anyone predicted. After hours of intense sessions, they finally stepped outside into the crisp New York air. Crowds had gathered. News had spread. Social media was buzzing. People wanted to see the princess who had appeared at the UN. And when she came out, the cheers were loud. Unexpectedly loud. A crowd filled with Spaniards, European tourists, Latin American students, New Yorkers who recognized her face. She waved gently, smiling with grace. But the most powerful moment happened when a young Spanish girl, about 11 years old, pushed forward holding a handmade sign. It read, "Leonor, mi reina del futuro." Leonor walked over. She didn't just wave. She didn't just smile. She bent down, took the girl's hands, and said softly, "Our future belongs to you too." Cameras flashed. People cried. Because it wasn't just a royal moment. It was a human moment. After the crowd encounter, Felipe and Leonor returned inside for their final engagement, a private meeting with UN officials about Spain's youth development initiatives. The conversation was focused, strategic, and forward-looking. And though Leonor wasn't leading the session, her presence strengthened the message. Spain wasn't just speaking about the future. The future was in the room. As the day ended, father and daughter shared a quiet ride back through the city. The New York skyline glowed against the evening sky. Leonor gazed out the window, deep in thought. Felipe finally said, "You did well today." Leonor turned, surprised. "I was nervous. And yet you stood with confidence," he replied. Leadership isn't about never feeling fear. It's about carrying responsibility despite the fear. Leonor nodded. And for the first time, she felt the full weight, and the full honor, of her role. The motorcade approached the hotel. Flashing lights filled the street. The world now knew she was here. The world knew she was stepping forward. And as they exited the car, Felipe placed a hand gently on her shoulder. A gesture that told the world, she is ready. She is rising. She is becoming. The visit to the United Nations would go down as one of the most defining early moments in her royal journey. Not because it was dramatic. Not because it was planned. But because it was real. Authentic. Human. A daughter learning from her father. A future queen learning from her king. And Spain watching a new era unfold. For years, the world wondered what kind of Queen Leonor would become. Today, in New York, the world received its first real answer. Composed, compassionate, intelligent, unafraid, Princess Leonor didn't just join King Felipe at the UN. She stepped into the world stage. And the world noticed.